Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com. Welcome to the podcast. This is your host, Seth Greene. Today I have the good fortune to be joined by MC Laubscher from Producers Wealth. He is a dynamic entrepreneur, investor, and best-selling author dedicated to empowering business owners through innovative wealth strategies. He's founded Producers Wealth, which enhances financial well-being across the U.S. His educational platform, Cashflow Ninja, has influenced over 7 million people globally. He's been in Entrepreneur Magazine and the Forbes Finance Council. MC, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Seth. Been looking forward to our conversation.
Our pleasure. Let's go back in time a little bit. How did you get started?
Yeah, I'm originally from South Africa. I grew up in a very interesting time in South Africa's history, too, going from apartheid to a democratically elected government. That made me a very curious person to figure out what's going on, how the world works, and so forth, which really enabled me to just ask questions and ask questions constantly. And a lot of these questions address problems. And the follow-up to a question that discovers a problem is like, how do you come up with a solution? So that's how I fell into entrepreneurship. And I came to the United States. I played sports up until 2007. While I was doing that, traveling quite a bit, and I was that guy on the team bus and team plane reading books about business and investing and finance and so forth. I love history, economics, have a degree in that and an MBA in finance, and came across Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and that's where really I jumped into starting a real estate business, bought a property that produced cash flow just like in the book, and try to scale that business. And as I grew my real estate business, other opportunities came up. I learned other wealth strategies that was helping me that we now teach and share to help other business owners all across the United States.
Awesome. So what is Producers Wealth?
So Producers Wealth is a wealth strategy firm. Basically, what Producers Wealth helps business owners to implement and execute the infinite banking system for business owners. So we do that in all 50 states in the United States. One of my mentors shared with me one of the biggest lessons I've learned on my journey as an entrepreneur. He said, MC, you got to be in the business that you're in, whether it's selling a product or the service. That's great. Crush that. But you have to be in the banking business. Banks make money on your savings, your loans, and your investments. You should take that role in your personal business and investing economy. So we teach business owners and help them implement and execute the strategy of becoming their own bank and creating this own banking system for them so that they always have access to capital to manage and run their business and grow and scale their business without being beholden just to financial institutions, especially the earlier startup and growth and scale businesses. When you get bigger and bigger, you need some big players coming in, but especially in the beginning, we show them how they can be empowered and never run out of money to manage their business and grow their business.
That's awesome. And obviously a strategy we're familiar with on the show and believe in. Own one myself. So totally
Awesome.
Get that. What is Cashflow Ninja?
Cashflow Ninja is an educational platform. And basically where Cashflow Ninja came from is I started Producers Wealth. We were virtually in 2015. So I was conducting client calls with Skype back then. Everybody thought we were nuts. The world caught up. In 2016, I started Cashflow Ninja. I started Cashflow Ninja to have conversations just with all of my clients because people were making money in so many different ways that would just blew my mind. From coffee farms in Panama all the way down to cryptocurrencies, investing in racehorses, how to invest in fine Scottish whiskey. I could go on and on with all these very interesting ways of protecting, building, and growing your capital, and a lot of cool business strategies. So again, as I mentioned, I was curious and I like to ask questions. I had all these private conversations and I'm like, why don't I start recording this if people would be open to it and publish it? And we did. And that got us onto the charts on iTunes pretty quickly back then. Now it's Apple Podcasts. And it turned into something which I couldn't have imagined, but we've been downloaded in 180 countries, over 7 million times the last time we checked. And we just continue to share interesting things about business, investing, and finance. Very intriguing ideas and ways of how to build a business, grow and scale it, how to protect money, and how to invest it in really cool stuff.
That is awesome. Congratulations. Now, you're a little bit controversial because you talk about the dangers of conventional financial advice for business owners.
Yep.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah, most of the advice that business owners would get that is mainstream that's out there is completely wrong. It's not for you at all. It's for the average person. It's not for business owners. We live in a completely different world. So the things that just the mainstream and most people should be doing is completely different from business owners. So what do I talk about that? If you think about the financial strategy for the average person and which marketing mainstream financial information is targeted, well, they go in, they have a job, they save some money, they invest it in a 401k and an IRA and so forth, and they buy a house and they pay off that house, right? So all their money is stuck in the house and in Wall Street. With a business owner, one of the biggest things that you need to be successful is control over your capital, control of capital. If you think about it, you start as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. It's blood, sweat, tears, late nights, all that stuff. And finally, something doesn't stink or suck and it works. And now you got a business and now it starts to grow. At that stage, when you started, you look like a broke person on paper, especially if you're all in. If you don't come from money or you don't even have a rich uncle, you look like a broke person. So nobody's going to talk to you. Then you become successful. Everybody wants to talk to you. What do they tell you to do? You got to diversify. Give me some of the money that you're generating in your business, and I'll put it in a diversified portfolio, stocks, bonds, and mutual funds for you. What did you do there? You lost control of capital, number one. So now you don't have money to manage your cash flow in all different, the 4 seasons of cash flows I talk about. You don't have money to run your business. You don't have money to grow and scale your business, hire employees, implement AI, bring in technology and that kind of stuff. You gave someone else money, like Tim Cook at Apple. By the way, I love Apple, but Tim doesn't need your money. He's got enough. You gave Tim Cook money to do that with Apple, to help them grow and manage their business and grow and scale. You should be having the money where you have control over, where you can access it to grow and scale your own business. There's different ways of diversifying. There's different strategies where you still maintain control over your capital, and it's in alignment with what you're already doing.
That's awesome. And I agree with you 100%. What are some of the biggest mistakes we as business owners are making with capital once we've got it?
We always think there's a bigger return somewhere else. I can tell you, in 10 years, I've seen stuff that would blow everybody's minds. I have clients that are just crushing it in their business. I'm talking, they put $1 in, it's spitting out 10, 15 bucks. And then that same person comes to me and go, should I be buying Bitcoin or should I be investing in real estate right now? And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You're printing money. For every dollar that you put into your business, you're getting 15 back. Why would you do anything else? Yes, there is a time and a place and different ways of how you can diversify. This banking system, by the way, setting this up, this infinite banking, that is one way of diversifying. Still maintain control of capital, still feed your business, but it's a level of diversification. Another one, if you want to buy real estate, and this is advice that we gave one client, was let's use your banking system to then buy the property from which the business operates. And it's got 3 other tenants now, which you're the anchor tenant in that building. So now, yeah, you acquired a different assets under a different company. You've got tenants paying you and your business being one of them. More control, a lot more control. So I think the number one mistake is always thinking there's something out there, a doggy coin, a meme coin, a real estate deal or something that's going to generate more profit or more revenue for you. I just haven't seen it firsthand.
Understandable. And I love your examples there. You've grown Cashflow Ninja to reach over 7 million people. How'd you grow?
I think being authentic and just staying consistent. It's been almost a decade now, 10 years that we have the platform. So I think when people see authenticity that they resonate with, and we always just tell it like it is. I always say, you're just going to get it straight up, no chaser from us. We say what we think and what we believe in. We stay consistent and we're authentic. We don't try to be something that we're not. I think that's one of the ways that you can grow, build an audience just organically. I think people are attracted to other people that, even though they might not agree with them on everything, at least they're like, no, that person, at least they're not sugarcoating things for me. They're just going to say it like how they see it. And that's why. And personally, me too. There's a ton of great people out there and great podcasts. I'm attracted to people too that stay consistent, they're authentic, and I might not agree with everything that they're saying, but I know that is an original thought, and that's what they believe.
You've reached and influenced so many people. What's your biggest challenge now?
Yeah, it's a moving target, right? Marketing is a moving target. I always say if somebody said that they figured out everything in business and marketing, it's not the truth. You're always learning. You're always figuring out. Things are constantly changing. So for us, it's just trying to get our message, especially with Producers Wealth, across different platforms. You've seen this, the TikTok explosion of videos. So how do you make finance fun and interesting in that medium? So you have to have a very specific delivery. So that's the challenge is, your message resonates in 30 to 45 minute podcast interviews and presentations and quick keynotes and so forth. But how do you get it in 30 seconds, 1 minute, 3 minutes, and 5 minutes so that people find value, number one, of what you're saying, and then also can act on some of the advice that you're giving them?
Absolutely. Your passion is obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing?
It's in purpose. I love what I do. Every single day, working with business owners across the United States. Excuse me. Might have to edit that. Working with business owners across the United States, really, I see something different every single day, which makes it very interesting. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. We have Atlas as our logo, and the big theme in Atlas Shrug is too, who's going to help the helpers? I try to help the helpers. There's a lot of challenges that business owners have, so we try to empower them as much as we can. We try to share our journey and the struggles that we had and some of the strategies when it comes to finance of how we overcame that. And that's the big thing that I think people work with us too, is because we practice what we preach. We eat our own cooking without throwing up, as I always say. And a lot of the stuff that we teach is from pains and challenges and struggles that we had to find a solution for it.
Awesome. We greatly appreciate your time. We know it's incredibly valuable. Where is the best place for our folks watching or listening to go to learn more about you and what you're doing?
Producerswealth.com is our website, but listeners can go to getwealthyforsure.com if they want a free paperback copy of our book. Just pay for shipping and handling. It's getwealthyforsure.com, and the book is called Get Wealthy for Sure. It's the #1 financial strategy for business owners that want to multiply wealth predictably. So just go to getwealthyforsure.com and grab a copy of the book.
All right. Awesome. We greatly appreciate your time. This has been Seth Greene with MC Laubscher from Producers Wealth and GetWealthyForSure.com. Thank you, everybody, for watching or listening. We will talk to you or see you next time. MC, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.